Hello, this is a tutorial for the penguin, and as before, it's going to be based off a crease pattern which you can find in the description, or you can just fold along with the video. That's pretty cool too. Yeah, so let's see. This one was from 35 centimeter kami, and then this one was 25 centimeter double tissue, and then this one is from the scrap of this guy's square. So I forget how big that one was. Let's see. Let's take a look. So yeah, it's got yeah, here's what it looks like. It's got some eyes. Anyways, yeah, so let's get started folding. For the tutorial, I'm going to be using this double tissue that I made a video for how to make double tissue. Probably linked in the description if you want to see that. So what's important is that you want to, I would have done it with black and white, but I'm out of black tissue paper. I'm also happen to be out of white tissue paper, so this is the best. This dark blue and light gray, I guess. It's not optimal, but it's fine. So you want to have at least two colors, so you can get like the belly and the back. All right, and then as always, there's the crease pattern here. And the link to find this will be in the description. I think I left a note on the thing, but this should be folded with, so red equals mountain, blue equals valley, and then you want to fold with the black side up. On this left side, especially with these pencil marks, this left side is like the base, kind of, so if you're intimidated by this, just fold the left side first, and then you'll see that it's actually really simple to get to here. It's just a bunch of inside reverse folds to get these diamonds. It's not too bad, actually. Another thing to note is that it's not really flat foldable. Like, right there, you can clearly see that there's an error there. It doesn't add up. There's an odd number of creases at that one vertex. So clearly it's not flat foldable, but it will tell you enough to be able to fold it. Especially with the video, it should be okay. So as you can see, it's a 32 grid, but for the most part, like all the outsides, mostly 16 grid. So why don't we go ahead and pre-crease the 16 grid. If you don't know how to do a 16 by 16 grid, it might mean that this video might be a little bit more advanced. But if you're really determined to do it, then you can watch the turtle video, linked in the description, and then the first few minutes of it go through how to do a 16 by 16 grid. So let's go do that now. And we're gonna start by pre-creasing the diagonals as always. So for example, this diagonal is going to be mountain, valley, mountain. We're just going to do the whole thing mountain for now. So it's going to look like this. And so 2/3 of this is going to be the correct direction. And that's pretty good. We don't really need to pre-crease this the other way. We'll just change it when we're collapsing. Alright? And then it goes back down 4. So let's make 4 unit long. What we're going to do when we do these diagonals, we're just going to pre-crease it through like that. And that'll just make things easier for us. For now. So, and then also, of course, you've seen these before. This device is called a level shifter. We're just going to pre-crease through it like that. So this is, 6 30-seconds, which is 3/16. So, and then it's 1/16 away from there. So like that. Okay, and then it goes down 2 30-seconds, which is 1/16. So it goes down 1. And then this is 4 30-seconds, which is 2/16. And we're just going to make them all mountain for now. And then so 1 2 1 2 1 2 and a half, or 1 1/2 and 1 1/2. So we'll get there. I'm going to do all the ones first. Sometimes find that easier. Okay, and then here's a 1.5. And let's do the 2s. Alright. So there you go. So we've pre-creased the major diagonals, which like this is a level shifter, we can ignore that. These are level shifters, we can ignore that, and also here we can ignore that. But otherwise, and then we can also, for now we can ignore these guys. We'll just simplify it by going here. So other than that, we've gotten all the diagonals on the left side. Now we're going to do all that on the right side. Okay, so I've got, oh wait, never mind. Okay, so there we go. So I've gotten all the major diagonals pre-creased. Now let's go ahead and let's pre-crease these 30-second verticals a little bit, and they're all going to be mountain folds, but from this perspective they're going to look like valley folds. From the back they're going to look like valley folds. So out here there's no verticals, especially no vertical 30 seconds. So we're only going to pre-crease up to like here-ish, so up to like this point. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 in, and then we'll start. So let's go. So I'm just gonna, to save ourselves time and so we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our first 30-second crease goes here. Remember, this gray is like my white, so instead of white and black I have gray and blue. Okay, and so see, now there's my 30-second crease. Now I'm going to keep going all the way over to the other side. And so the way I do that is the reference. So this one, where this edge is going to jump. Now it's going to be folding up to this point. This point that's 2/16 away. And you can do the math to figure out why is it that. And now see how the crease. Anyway, see how the crease. This is the crease we made last time, and now when we jumped 2 units up here, we jumped 1 unit from here to there. Anyways, if that doesn't make any sense at all, just as long as you're getting the creases down, it's okay. Also, which I should have done earlier, I'm going to try not to crease this area because that's where the head is. So let's try not to crease up there. So instead of creasing all the way through, I'm just going to crease like this much, starting there and then all the way out. Alright, now other side. So remember, count 4 in, and then the next one is where we start. And we don't want to go. We don't want to pre-crease this top area. Just And you may notice that we didn't get all of the 30 seconds, but like there's some out here, but you know, they're short enough, we can just fold them in as when we get there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to collapse this zigzag, this main zigzag that goes down, we're going to collapse that. And so here's what I mean by that. Again, there's multiple ways you could do this collapsing sequence. This is what I find to be the easiest to explain. So, you know, we shouldn't, yeah, just the bare minimum of lateral creases. And that's what we're trying to go for. Alright. So it should look like this. We can ignore this bottom part. I mean, actually, let's not. And then down here, alright. Yeah, I know this is kind of shiny, which is not ideal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold, so these center flaps, I'm going to just fold all of them in half. Then you can unfold and do it for all 4 of these. One thing we might want to do real quick is I forgot to pre-crease these guys, so let's go ahead and do that now. So slope of 1/2 up here. So just basically match the crease pattern. I don't know how else to say. And then it can be mountain, that's fine. Alright, so we got the triangle on the other side. You know, it's you can get by without pre-creasing. But it might be a little easier. So we've got this. Now what we're going to do, I'm just going to flatten that. What we want is, we want every other one, we're going to sink it in. So what I mean by that is, so on this one, we're going to sink that in. Alright, and then this next one, we're also going to sink in. And then same thing over here. So the first one we can skip. Second and fourth one we're going to sink. Alright, and we're also going to sink on this last one too. So it's going to be a little bit different, but not too bad. Shouldn't be too hard to figure out. It's just like in the crease pattern. Should look like that. This one has a little 32 part. And then over here I forgot to do that. Okay, now we're going to start with the bottom one. I'm going to start with this first one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to squash it. Like that. See that? Oops, you know, that little imperfection's okay. But what it's going to do is going to form those two mountains. And then this mountain's going to run all the way across, like that. And then we squash the other side too. Like that, good. Okay, and then we will do that for the next one. So just yeah. So squash it. Alright, now we are ready to do some interesting stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole thing, and it's going to be a pretty difficult, it's going to be sink in and out at the same time. So I'll just do it and you watch, or you know, I'll just do it. Okay, that looks good. Alright, and then we'll do that same sink on the other side. Yeah, so this is definitely not an easy fold. Okay, and that's great. So now we can repeat what we did last time. So we can squash this thing, and then we'll squash this thing, and then things will be looking pretty nice for us. So let's go ahead and squash this end. Alright, and then we'll sink this one too, or sorry, squash this one. Well, sink is pretty similar. Okay, now we'll do the same thing as before. So we're going to take this whole thing and we're just going to sink it in and sink it out. So sink it in here. Yeah, it's not really sinking out, it's just pushing the whole thing in. And don't worry, we haven't really seen the backside yet, but don't worry that this is going to yield a penguin with a white belly. So don't worry. Alright, so now we've finally gotten to the point where you can flatten it out, get that satisfying, squish. Almost as good as the feeling of peeling the double tissue off. Why don't we go ahead and collapse these guys. So this is where actually we'll just start in the corner, the top corner. So see how it's a valley there? This is a valley, so let's go ahead and do that. And then there's a mountain next to it. And this is going to be the wings. Oh yeah, wing. Yeah, penguins are birds, right? Yeah. And same thing on the other side. Alright, that's looking a bit okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make it, see how on this one the belly is vertically, the vertical pleats are 30 seconds. So right now we only have, this is like 16ths wide. So we're going to make it into 30 seconds. And the way we do that, the first, here, why don't we just, so let's go ahead and squash this thing. Right. And then, now we can sink this in. Just like that. So this is the classic level shifter. And then, I'll do the other side afterwards. Then, now, this is where things get interesting. So the best way to do this, I've found, is I'm going to take tweezers, my special tweezers, and then I'm going to do an inside reverse fold right here. And this gets a little weird. So just give it a try. Now you can sink this through. So just push that in. See, it's gone in. Right. Then we actually do that one more time over here. But this time it gets a little more complicated. So again, inside reverse fold this. And by the way, this is what these little diamonds are. That's what these diamonds are, the inside reverse folds. And I remember we did not pre-crease this, so this might end up kind of hard, which was probably not a great idea. But we can finish it. We can get it done like that. But now it becomes, it has to turn to the left. And there we go. Alright. And so now we see that over here we've got, it's in 30 seconds now. And now we're going to repeat all that on the other side, so like a classic Shukihato book. So let's go do that. And then sync. Okay, now this again, the inside reverse fold here. Again, I'll just do it with my finger to show it's possible. By the way, tweezers are a good investment. They will help you many times. Okay, one more time. Maybe that's an easier way to, make this all go all the way down, then sync, and then connect it. Okay, so you may have figured it out already, but this is actually the front of the model. So we've been tinkering on the back this whole time. This is the front. And so what's going to happen is now you see that we'll have the dark color on the edges and then with the light color facing forward. Now we're going to do the texture stuff, which, don't worry, it actually is not that bad. So here's what's going to happen. So tweezers is definitely, it is possible to do without tweezers, but this definitely will make things easier and neater. So what we're going to do is just, wherever you can, you're just going to do an inside reverse fold. So like that, and then another one here. You don't really need to pre-crease it or anything. It should be fine. Alright, so just everywhere you can. And then if there's some on the sides that you think you're unsure if you can or can't, like this one right here, I mean, you can do it, but it won't. If you don't really want to, it's okay, because it won't really. It's not really visible. It's all scrunched up in here, anyways. So you don't have to, just get the main ones, basically. Also, I mean, you can't really tell, but I do encourage you to do it from the back too, and because that will help you. It helps with puffing. So if you have the time, please do, or I do encourage you to, inside reverse fold from the back. This video is going to be super long if I show you all the reverse folds, but you can do a lot, and I think, I'm sure you can figure it out on your own. So I'm going to leave it at that. And so it should look like this. So again, like this whole area, and then on the back side also. What I found is that it's best to do the back side first. So let's go down the line. Squish. One thing we can do right off the bat is we can go ahead and take care of these guys. So that's going to be right down the middle, which is right here. And so, you know, so remember, from the back it looks like a valley, but from the front it looks like a mountain. Or, I mean, from the dark side it looks like a valley here, right, blue. But from the front side, from the white side, it looks like a mountain, this crease. And then we just do what's known as an Elias stretch. Okay, now one thing that's been confusing to people is the fact that, you know, we have the legs here in the middle, but then we also have these two. And the fact is that these two, we're just going to hide them. We're just going to, but before we do that, I want to make, you know, this little black stripe. So what's going to happen is kind of a mush, so it's going to fold like maybe a third of the way in. Sorry, a fourth or something like that. Just, you know, just fold it in. Kind of eyeball it. And it's not going to lie flat at all. So up here is, we can just, you know, as long as the wing is down, this part will lie flat. And then for here, we can make it lie flat like that, just by folding that corner down, and that'll actually make it lie flat. And the same on the other side. Alright, so now we got the, you know, the dark stripe and the white stripe. And I think that's pretty good. So now we can, once having done this thing, now we can go ahead and just hide this away somewhere. So yeah, why not right here? Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a brute force way, and it's very not efficient, but it's a, you know, the final result looks okay. So you know, all in all, I think it's fine. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and shape the feet. So, actually, yeah. So what we want is we want the black feet, right? Or the dark feet. So it's going to have to twist around a little bit. And that can be kind of awkward. But here's kind of what I might do. So let's fold it to the side and then fold it up. So it can kind of stand flat like that. And then so starting from this guy, it will just kind of stretch over. Then we kind of spread out the little pleats. I don't think I did that very clearly, so I'll show it again, don't worry. And then you may have to readjust this crease here after spreading out the pleats. Something like that. Yeah. And so let's do the same thing over here. So let's start with this first one. And why don't we just fold it out? And then like that at an angle. So we spread them out, and now I flatten them. Flatten it again. And like that. That's pretty good. And I'm gonna have to, we'll do some toe details. I might have to treat this little part with methyl cellulose before I do that, because it's kind of, it's not super crispy down here, so it's hard to shape. Now let's go ahead and do the hands. So, sorry, wings. So let's bring it back a little bit so he's got kind of shoulders, kind of. Alright, and then I don't like how it's square here, so I'm going to angle it kind of, so, just fold the corners down, round it out. And then to do the head, we'll outside reverse fold it. So just make a big outside reverse fold. There's really no need to pre-crease the outside reverse fold either. As big as you can. Like, I don't want it to intersect with those reverse folds, but pretty big. And then, at this point, remember, shaping is not supposed to be super precise. You see, I tried to make eyes here, but from the front you can't really see it, but we can try. At any rate, we got to make the beak, so it's going to be kind of an outside reverse fold in, sorry, an inside reverse fold like that, and outside reverse fold back out. Round this back part. I guess you can sharpen the beak if you want. So here's how I do that. We'll come back for the final shaping, like a little bit more shaping, basically. So now what we're going to do is we want to, kind of sharpen. We want to make, they're like kind of webby and but also have some distinct toes. So let's sharpen those out by inside reverse folding like that. And then, I don't know how many toes do they have, like 3, I think. I don't know. It's not going to be perfect. And maybe on this one I'll like fold it kind of like that or something. Yeah, so that you can kind of get some toes like that but you still want it also to be kind of webby. You don't really want them to be like claws, right? You want it. It's a little weird because one foot's bigger than the other. They're kind of, imperfect. But, the feet are usually not the most important part of the model, so don't worry too hard. Okay, so what's more important is what we're about to do next, and that's where we're going to try to get the belly to be kind of fat and puffy. So what's going to happen is with this part, this like thick part needs to be curved. So, we can kind of bend it like that. And our methylcellulose is going to help a lot, especially since we're using double tissue. It's going to be really receptive to it. But if you don't, you can kind of just try to, water might work maybe for like printer paper, and water might be okay if that's what you're trying to do. Oh, actually, before we do that, I'm going to hold the feet like that. So foil and then clothespin. And that will help. You'll see why. And then maybe also on the top also, because we don't really want the head to expand too hard. Yeah, maybe I'll give him a scarf. Now we're going to kind of pull it round it like this, and then also push forward. And it's not going to be super pretty. Something like that. And try to make it sure it's pushing out evenly and not just on And one unit is pushed out a lot. It might help to push down on the head, so they'll squash him kind of like that. We want kind of like a pear shape. That's the kind of chonker we want. Something like that. So I kind of push down on that. And I kind of need it to hold its shape. Maybe I'll try that, and then maybe if I put this thing on it. First I'm going to put the methylcellulose in there. Yeah. So where is it opening? Where is it like super stressed out? That's where we're going to put the methylcellulose. So like around here, might need some. Everywhere where it's open, we can use some. Everywhere where it's like kind of curved, that's where I could use some. Doesn't have to be super precise. Maybe I'll just screw it. Just go like that. Whatever. Oh, another strategy you can try to do is try to stuff the inside. So maybe if I go like that. Oh. See, so it's not good if it lets go of the feet. Oh, yeah. Yeah, hopefully that won't happen again. So I stuffed the thing in the back. That might help. Again, it's just like, ooh. Try to push it forward. Yeah, so this is definitely not an easy thing to do. You're gonna have to kind of fight it. Oh, also another thing, you want to apply methylcellulose on his sides, like that. Because if the sides will stay curved, then the rest of the body will too, for the most part. So I'm just gonna go like that. Kind of push down on his head, and then leave the fan here. Yeah, this poor guy is being tortured, honestly. But you know, it's for the best of him. We're fattening him up. We're feeding him. I'm just going to do my best to hold him out like that. Once I see it dry, then I'll resume. All right, so it's dried enough that, you know, it's not completely dry, but it's dried enough that it holds its shape and then can air dry the rest of the way. And otherwise, I also methylcellulose the back side, which is helpful. And then I guess one more thing is you can just fold these corners in or something, just shape them. You know, not anything super fancy, just yeah, just do what you feel like. Maybe I'll fold the feet up or something. You can also try doing an eye here, like something like this. But you don't really have to. I don't really know how well you can. I think it's possible to do a good eye. I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess that's okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll fold this thing in. You know, pull up some penguin reference pics and then just try to shape them. Just shape. Look, he's happy. Anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Oh, there we go. I think that's pretty good. That's as good as we're gonna get. And you know, maybe I'll try to fatten him up some more, but you know, around these corners out. Maybe at least just at least the outer one, because that's visible. and and also I'll glue this thing down later. But with that, I think that's about it. And then I'll just let it dry the rest of the way. Otherwise, I think the ping was done. That's about it for the tutorial. Thanks for watching, and hopefully it worked for you. If it did, I'm not gonna be like those YouTubers to like, comment, subscribe, to say like, comment, and subscribe. But I mean, in all honesty, you probably should like, comment, and subscribe, especially if it did work for you, because that's the least you can do in return. So yeah, that was good. Hopefully you learned something. And as always, there's also some good links in the description. So like, for example, the Origami server community on Discord, which is really good, and also the crease patterns in there, and whatever else I referenced is also in the description, so go check it out. Comment if you have any other suggestions or anything, which I do read the comments and reply, so don't worry. And then yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I will see you next time.